What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to Mr. Plays, and today I'm going to be doing a tier list for Marvel Contest of Champions, in which I rank the 2 new champions from February, rank all of the 4 new buffs that we just got, and also change around some characters that I think need to be changed. Roll the intro. Okay, guys, so I've made 2 of these tier list videos, one for January, one for February. You can check both those out down in the description below, and also I'll throw some cards up there. But so in this video, I'm going to be putting into tiers the Psychoman and Superscroll new from last month, and I'm also going to be changing the buffs like Civil Warrior, Angela, Massacre, and also the Hood, and also changing some other champions I changed my mind on. So I've got a bunch of tiers. I got cheat code, I got overpowered, beyond god, god, good, average, bad, terrible, meme. And then, just to clarify, the cheat code tier is the champions who literally are cheat code. They just go through, they don't take any damage, they just go through a fight, don't take a single hit, don't take a single blocked hit, just like wreck everyone with no hits taken at all, and then just go through a full quest and come out with 100% health. So that's what my definition of cheat code is. And so first, let's get on to the new champion rankings. So first, I'm gonna rank Psychoman. So I'm gonna put Psychoman in I'm gonna put him in good. I think this guy, he's a good champion. He's got a lot of core mechanics. He's got a bunch of stuff that he can do, but the problem is he just doesn't have that much damage. He's got a good amount of utility, again, but just no damage. So pretty much with Psychoman, all of his utility, he's got a good amount of utility, and it all comes from his control box. Pretty much, he carries his control box, and it has 3 different modes, or stances, or whatever you want to call them, that you can switch between. There are hate, fear, and doubt, which floods the opponent's mind with that emotion at all times. So you start off in hate mode, and then you can cycle onto the next mode every single 4th light attack, or whenever you strike into a block. So you can switch between the modes by doing a 4th light attack, sort of like with Black Widow Clairvoyant, where when you're cycling between her different stances, you can just use the 4th light to switch between them. And then also, all of his abilities change depend on what type of mode you're in. So when you're in hate mode, the opponents will fight more aggressively. And they also suffer a passive concussion during their heavy charge and a heavy attack, which reduces their ability accuracy by minus 45%. So you can't really quake this guy because when you're doing your heavy, when you're charging your heavy, you'll set minus 75%. You have minus 75% ability accuracy. So he will just wreck. You won't evade 3/4 of the time. So he's a good counter for Quake, but of course not the best counter. But he's a guy who can get the job done in there. Then when you're in the fear mode, opponents are 70% more likely to use a special attack, and also have their passive concussion during specials, which reduces their ability accuracy by 75%. So this is pretty much, it's just a lot with a taunt. And then his final mode is doubt mode, where they fight more defensively and are 70% less likely to use a special attack. And they also suffer a passive concussion while blocking, reducing their ability accuracy by 25%. And so, actually, the fear mode, it's good for all or nothing nodes, because it's pretty much just a continuous taunt while you're in fear mode. And then doubt mode, it's like if you want to work someone up to a special 2, like with Moon Knight, it's easier to dex a special 2 than a special 1. So you can just be in doubt mode while he's in between 1 and 2 bars of power, and then once he gets above 2 bars of power, then you can just switch into one of the other modes, and then he'll just throw a special 2. And then, so he also has, when he's in those different modes, he also has different abilities for his attacks. So while he's in hate mode, striking the opponent while they're doing a heavy while they're charging their heavy or recovering from a heavy, then he gets 18% of a bar of power. So Psychoman has less normal combat power rate, but he has a bunch of other ways to gain power. And then also, while in fear mode, while striking the opponent while they're recovering from a special, grants you 25% of a bar of power. And then while in doubt mode, striking while they're blocking gives him 8% of a bar of power. So you can just hit into a block a bunch and get a good amount of power that way. And then whenever the opponent activates a special, it causes opponents to suffer a minus 1400 critical rating during the specials. So they're not going to be doing as many. They're doing a lot less crits. And then also, his specials also have much different things while in the different stages. So for special 1, well, he can most of it will like do a shock. He like sends out his things and then does 2 waves. So while you're in hate, inflicts the opponent with a shock, and then you also inflict an additional shock for every fury buff Psychoman has. Then while in fear mode, inflicts the opponent with a cowardice debuff, which reduces their special attack damage by 40% for 12 seconds. So this is a nice little special safety net in case you're maybe going against Heimdall, you accidentally pushed into a special 2. So you can just throw your special 1 while fear is active, and then his special undexable special 2 will do less damage. And then finally with doubt, the attack is passively unblockable and inflicts the opponent with a power drain, and then it depletes 30% of their current power over 6 seconds. So this one's nice. It's unblockable. I always love unblockable specials. And then for a special 2, while in hate, he gains a fury buff for 14.5 seconds. And then you can stack this up to 2. And the fury buffs refresh when a new one is gained and when he cycles his mode. So when you throw that 4th light. And then while you're in fear mode, you'll inflict the opponent with a heal block for 18 seconds. So again, more utility. You can get a heal block off. And then while you're in doubt mode, it's also unblock. This attack is unblockable and inflicts the opponent with a special lock for 12 seconds. So actually, this guy can actually be pretty insane if you're really good, because you can throw your special 2 and special lock them and then intercept them, parry, and then just spam heavies and then do another special 2, and then you can just do so many heavy spams. And the opponent will pretty much never have a chance to throw their special 3. So he's like, if you can play him perfectly, he's like beyond god overpowered. But you have to get you have to have the AI really cooperate and like hit into your parries. So that's why he's only in the good tier. And also his damage is so little that you have to do so many heavy. You have to spam so many heavies to get hit, to get a dent on them. So that's what's not the greatest about him. And then special 3 will inflict a stun and a power lock for 3 seconds. And during the opponent's next special, they will suffer a concussion, reducing their ability actually by 100%, and a weakness, reducing their attack by 50%. So Psychoman, he's got a bunch of utility. He's got like that heal block. He's got a bunch of concussion. He's got sort of a passive taunt mechanic, and then a reverse passive taunt mechanic. So he's got a lot of utility. He got a lot of things he can do. But the thing is, he just doesn't have a ton of damage. But that's what I feel like is with a lot of champions. So that's why I'm putting him in the good tier. Okay, so now onto the second champion that was added this past month. So Superscroll, where I'm going to put him, I'm going to put him in the same tier as Psychoman. He's sort of the same thing. He doesn't have a ton of damage, but for a few different paths, he's actually absolutely insane. But he's also got some utility, which is nice. And so his whole thing is his whole cosmic energy overload. And so you get these cosmic energy receptors. So every second, Superscroll reaches a full charge, and his next attack will create a buff, which resets the charge. And then landing a hit or striking a block converts that charge into a fury, and then being struck by or blocking attack converts it into an armor up. And you can maintain 5 total of these buffs at a time. And then pretty much once you can get into cosmic energy overload, and once you reach the cosmic energy receptor buff limit, so once you get 5 of those buffs, you gain a cosmic energy overload buff for 15 seconds, and you can't build any more cosmic energy until that ends. And then all cosmic energy receptor buffs are removed when the overload ends or if it fails to trigger. So Superscroll gains additional buffs based on the armor up or fury buffs active when he enters the overload. So if you have 4 more armor up buffs, he gains a vigilance buff, preventing his attacks from missing for 15 seconds. If you have 8 plus armor up buffs, you gain an unblockable buff for 15 seconds. If you have 4 more fury buffs, and then you gain an undermine buff for 15 seconds, which grants unblockable to any hit which the opponent auto blocks. So this is a really nice bit of utility. So like good Medusa, good Iron Man Infinity War, good against Darkhawk, and also Darkhawk's invisibility can be countered or stealth mode can be countered with his vigilance, which is really nice. And then if you get 8 or more fury buffs, gains a Nova Fist buff for 15 seconds, and this gives a 100% chance to incinerate on every single attack. And then it removes perfect block chance and reduces block efficiency by 50%. And then he's also got he's immune to shock and incinerate, which is nice. Fury buffs will give him some extra block penetration, and armor up buffs will give him extra critical resistance. And then he's also got this hypnotic gaze debuff. So after a cooldown of 25 seconds, you'll inflict a falter debuff on the opponent. This falter debuff lasts for a second, causing all attacks to miss and begins pause. And it's unpaused when you're struck, when you block an attack, or when the opponent misses. And then when the falter expires, there's a 100% chance that it's replaced with an energy vulnerability debuff, reducing energy resist by 1400 for 5 seconds. So this is another nice bit of utility. Falter, so like just missing. And then also his special are nice. So special 1 will convert up to 5 Fury buffs into armor up buffs. And the second hit cannot miss or be auto blocked. And then special 2 can convert up to 5 armor up buffs into Fury buffs, which increases attack by 400 for 25 seconds. And every hit has a 100% chance to cause an incinerate. And then it does the same that all the other incinerates do. And then special 3 will gain indefinite non-stacking aptitude, which increases the potency of his future armor up, fury, and precision buffs by 60%. And it will also stun for 3 seconds. So, Superscroll, he's got pretty much what you... And then also, he really needs his Awakened ability, which is WoW and Cosmic Energy Overload. He gains a power gain buff, granting like 1.5 to 7% of a bar of power every second. So, you really want him Awakened. And so, pretty much the whole thing with him is you try and get as many armor up buffs. I think what you're trying to do is you try and get as many armor up buffs, or no, you try and get as many fury buffs at the beginning. Then you throw your special 1 to convert the furies into armor ups, and then you get more furies again, and then you get more armors, and then you get more furies again, and then you use your special 2, which converts those 5 armors that you stashed from your special 1 into furies, and then you can get the 8 furies, which can... You can get the at least 8 Furies, maybe even 10 Furies, which can then also give you that Nova Fist, which can do a ton of incinerate damage. But it's so much work to get a good his damage, and it's not the greatest damage, but it does have a lot of utility with the becoming unblockable, cannot be auto blocked, so he can become unblockable. He cannot be auto blocked, which is nice. And then he also has that vigilance, so when he can't miss. He's got a lot of different sets of utility. So it's sort of the same thing as Psychoman. He doesn't have the greatest damage, but he's got a good amount of utility, which is why I put him in the good tier. Okay, guys, so now I'm just going to move up and down champions I believe deserve a promotion or demotion. Not based on buffs, just based on what I've been thinking about, and also your comments. So first I'm going to move Crossbones up, move Ant-Man down. I think Crossbow, he's got that Incinerate special too. He can get a bunch of Furies, which is nice. Fury's pretty good. I'll move up Red Hulk Massacre got buffed. And then also Immortal Abomination up to God. And then also Gambit up to God. Because they're all really good champions. And they deserve that spot. Like Red Hulk, he's got that Incinerate immunity. And he can absorb the Incinerates. Immortal Abomination is just crazy good. And then I might even consider a Beyond God promotion later. And then Gambit, also, if you make him a horseman and you get those prowesses, he just goes crazy. And then Yellow Jacket, I'm going to move down to good, because put him in God at first, but then after watching more gameplay, I realized that, like, his damage is so underwhelming. He's got he's sort of, again, like Psychoman and Superscroll. He's got a good amount, some utility, but he doesn't have the greatest damage. And so I think about, also, a few more things. This is probably going to be very controversial, but I'm putting Iron Man Infinity War in overpowered. The thing about him is he's not the best counter for, like, almost anything in the game, but I feel like he's the second, third, or fourth best counter to pretty much everything in the game. He's such a versatile champion. He can do so much. He's pretty much a Swiss Army knife champion. He's got, like, armor break. He's got so much he can do, and that's what makes him an overpowered champion. And then also I'm going to move up Apocalypse. And then he'd probably be Beyond God just from him fighting alone. But then also his Horseman ability. Like, he's amazing to fight with. And then also with the Strife synergy, he's just absolutely crazy off his specials. And then also he also makes people Horsemen, which makes them even crazier. So he's just an all-around, just a great champion. And then another thing I want to do here. Let's see, I know I want to do something else. Now, I'm also going to move up Falcon to Beyond God, because, like, this guy's absolutely insane. He shuts down so many people when you lock onto them. They can't evade, and then when they can't evade, you're getting all these cruelties. then you're just getting crazy crits and the special 2 auto crits, and it's just, this guy does crazy damage and crazy utility. So that's why I'm going to put him up and beyond God. So yeah, I think that's good for all the promotions and demotions for right now. But tell me down in the comment section below what you think I should change about this list. Because every single time I do another tier list, I'm changing stuff around. Because I'm learning more stuff. Oh, actually no, one last promotion. Korg, if you have like 3 other champions on the team, 2 or 3 other champions on the team, synergies, this guy hits so hard. I think you need like, it's like Mojo and Hela and like Hulk, I think it's like Mojo and Hulk Ragnarok. And then if you just get up to 6 crowd charges, then throw your special 3, get 15 crowd charges, then do a heavy to get an armor break. This guy's doing absolutely insane damage. It's crazy how much damage this guy is doing. And he doesn't need as much of a team synergy as like many people on the team as Thing does. So it's just, he's a crazy champion. I didn't know about that full team synergy before, but now that I know about him, he's beyond God. But again, just tell me in the comments section below what I should change, because I know I didn't get everything right on this list. I have probably a bunch of people in the wrong spots. So tell me what you think. Tell me what you think I should change. Should I move someone up? Should I move someone down? Do you think like CGR is the best champion in the game and he should be in cheat code? Because I've heard that a lot. But so now I'm going to go over the buffs. Okay, yeah, so the first guy I'm going to talk about is the Hood. So right now I have him in good. And I don't know, this guy I have the most mixed feelings about him. Because they added a bunch of damage to him. So if you see some gameplay, like, if you can get up to like 60 hexes and then you can detonate them with the heavy, that's like 200,000 damage. But it's so hard to get the bullets, and the bullet system is just so annoying. And then I liked what they changed about his invisibility, because then you can sort of do what you do with Ghost and just like get 2 hits missed and then just go in and attack them. So that's a reliable way to get bullets. But they took away, but also it takes so long to get up to a bunch of hexes. And it's just like, it takes so long to get up to that, and then you can finally throw it and get the big damage. But they just stripped a bunch of his utility. Like, he doesn't have that Fate Seal anymore. It's just, I feel like I don't know. I'm going to move him up to God because his damage is absolutely crazy. But they stripped pretty much what they changed is they add this bullet system where you start with 28 bullets, and then you have a max of 42 bullets, and it's a persistent charge. I wish it wasn't a persistent charge and you just start every fight with 28 bullets. Because since the persistent charge, after the first fight, you're going in with like 3 bullets, and it's so hard to just get so many bullets. I wish there was more ways to get bullets, because that would make it so much easier. And then off the special 2, he's got the same invisibility, but instead you start with a 120% chance to miss, and then it decreases by 20% every time they miss. So that's 2 guaranteed misses, and then after that, like 80% chance and then 60% chance. So I feel like with the Hood, they traded in damage for utility, but I feel like the damage was enough to put him in the God tier. But if they didn't strip away his utility, he might even be in Beyond God. But the thing is, they just stripped this guy of his Fate Seal, which is what everyone loved him for. And I thought he would actually it was actually a nerf that he might move down average, but the heavy detonation damage actually was more than I thought it was going to be, what seemed like it would be originally, and it's pretty easy to keep up the hexes. So that's why I'm moving up to God, but that's definitely not going to be controversial. But now we've got our next buff. This next one I'm going to be talking about is the Massacre buff. So Massacre, I'm going to put this guy in Beyond God. Massacre got a great buff. I'm loving what they did with this guy. So what they did is they kept him exactly the same as he was before. They just increased his numbers. So he has this whole ignited state. So you have to build up to 10 ignition charges, and those charges before only lasted for like 16 seconds, but now they last for 20 seconds. And then once you reach 10 charges, it will be ignited for 20 seconds, where before it was like 15 seconds. So he's in his ignited state much longer. Or not much longer, but a good amount longer. And then they just buffed his damage numbers. Like his special 2, they took it up from like 20,000 attack if blocked to like 30,000 attack if blocked. They gave him a bit more block penetration. So they just kept this guy, all of his core utility and mechanics the same. What they did is they just made those they just made, it was pretty much just a numbers tweak. They just made his numbers better, which is what I love to see. And then, so yeah, Massacre, he's a great champion now, Beyond God. If you can get him in, once you get him ignited, just by like hitting to their block a lot, and then you throw the special 2 into their block, it does crazy damage. Like a 5-star rank 5 will do 60,000 total damage into a special 2 into a block, which is absolutely insane. Okay, now guys, next buff, we got Civil Warrior. So actually, I pulled out a 5-star Civil Warrior a while ago, but now I'm so glad I got buffed, and I'm putting Beyond God. Like, Civil Warrior, what they did with him, I love what they did with him. Like, they took away his ability accuracy reduction per armor up, but I'm not too mad about that because his heavies, they increased the heal block from 5 to 10 seconds, which is nice, so you can keep that heal block up longer. And then his biggest thing they did is that they made his bleed and poison ability accuracy reduction from 15% per armor up to 25% per armor up, and they also made him immune to nullify and stagger, so he can completely bypass a bunch of annoying nodes like Buffet. So like Buffet, if you dex, nothing's happening, and you just get dex, you keep the dex buff, and they're not regenerating at all, which is amazing. But the biggest thing they did with this guy is his Furies. So pretty much every time you dash back and hold block for 1.2 seconds, you convert all your armor ups into Furies, each giving you like 350 extra attack for 12 seconds, and that has a max of 50 stacks, which is and then these, like, so your specials will pause your heal blocks and also pause all armor ups when you launch them. And so his special, what you want to do with this guy is you just keep spamming special once and then dashing back and holding block. And then also your Furies will be refreshed whenever you convert armor up into a Fury. So pretty much you just keep spamming special ones and then dashing back, holding block, and getting up to 50 Furies. And then you can also, you can spam the special 2 a lot, which is what I like to do. And he's also they really made his power gain really good. Because off the special 2, you'll burn 2 bars of power, which also deals direct damage proportional to the amount of power lost, which is a pretty good amount of damage, which is nice. Then special 3 makes them power lock during the attack, and also it will power drain them for 1 bar. But if you make them go to 0 power with that power drain, they also are power locked for like 14 seconds, which is, it's a lot. It's like either 10 or 14 seconds. And it's a long power lock, which is so nice. And if you just get all 50 Furies, then like, I have a 5-star, I only have a rank 2 of this guy. You can get like 7k crits off mediums, and it's like a 11, the last hit of his special 2, if you crit all 3 hits of your special 2, it's something like 30,000 damage if you have the max Furies. And this guy, he's just doing so much damage all the time. It's such an amazing thing. I love what they buffed with this guy. And you also get to keep the utility. You can sort of try and get a few, you can try and just work within a range of trying to keep up 10 Furies, which isn't that hard, and also keeping a bunch of his utility with the armor ups, with the like bleed and poison ability accuracy reduction, which is really nice. And then finally, we've got the final buff, which is to Angela. And Angela, she's the best. They did the best with her. Angela, she's going straight into the overpowered category. Angela, her biggest, so what they did with her is they just made it so that she could get more of those, she gets even more buffs than before, and off her special 3 she also can get like an aptitude, and she just gets so much extra stuff. She gets so many buffs. But the biggest thing they did with her is with her awakened ability, for each buff on Angela, damaging debuff duration will be 10 to 35% less time for every single buff you have on her. And Angela, you're doing like 2 combos and you already get 3 buffs. And it's so easy to get buffs with Angela that if you have her at max sig, or even at sig like 180 or something, all you need is 3 buffs, and you're like immune to every single damaging debuff, because it just its duration goes to 0. That includes like degeneration, like they even did with degen. So you're just, if it's a buff that has a certain amount of duration, you're just taking away that duration is reduced to 0, so you're not taking any damage. Like, it's always proccing, but it's just never actually affecting you, because it's just not ever on you for it's on you for 0 seconds. Like, you got a bleed on you, but it just, if instead of being a 10-second bleed, it's a 0-second bleed. And that, all you need is 3 buffs for that to happen. And that's just absolutely insane. And they also buffed her they also did like a numbers buff and gave her all her different buffs, gave her more attack and more more stuff on them, but also added a few more abilities. And also they made her able to parry non-contact attacks, which makes her even better for like the Iron Man Infinity War fights, Havoc fights, all that stuff. And so Angela is absolutely insane. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you did enjoy it, please smash that like button. And don't forget to tell me down in the comment section below what I did wrong, what you think I should change about this tier list. And then also, if you want to see more content, more tier lists, more Marvel Contest of Champions, please consider subscribing with notifications on, because we post daily, so you don't want to miss any of that great stuff. And until next time, peace!